Alright, in today's video we're going to be talking about Venom Pinball. I was one of the lucky few that got to play it at its first appearance at San Diego Comic-Con. I'm going to share you my thoughts and overall first impressions after playing it over the weekend. And we're going to talk some Venom Pinball, the pros and cons, and how I see it. So first things first, let's go ahead and talk about the artwork. Once again, Zombie Yeti on the art on this machine, and he did an absolutely phenomenal job. To me, he is the go-to guy when you need pinball artwork. I've been a fan of everything he's put out to date. I love his style, his use of color. He's a perfect guy when it comes to comic characters as far as their exaggerated features. He encapsulates that so well. The playfield on this is just absolutely gorgeous. The artwork on the machines looks phenomenal. For me personally though, a lot of times I always prefer the pro artwork over premium LE. This one's a little bit of a mixed bag. For me personally on the artwork, I think the perfect combination would be the pro body artwork on the actual cabinet body itself, and then the premium translite and the cabinet decals that go on the side of the head on the premium machine. The pro, it's not a bad looking machine. In fact, it's literally like very neck and neck when it comes to the translite graphics on those, but for whatever reason I actually prefer the premium translite, maybe because it has a few more characters on there than it does the pro. But the pro body itself, actually just like that simplistic Venom logo. But the Venom versus Carnage on the side of the premium is also very, very, very gorgeous. Absolutely amazing artwork. Like I said, I can't say enough good things about Jeremy and his work. Let's go ahead and talk shots and layout on the machine, overall design, if you will. First thing you're probably going to notice when you look at it is it's got a pretty wide open playfield. In fact, most of these shots are all located in the back third of the playfield. So your lower half is pretty wide open, so you're going to be able to get a lot of speed, a lot of momentum develop flying off those flippers. In fact, that's probably going to be one of the key takeaways for anybody that plays this game for the first time, is just how fast the machine is. I personally am a huge fan of fast games. In fact, I pitch all my machines at my home up a little higher than standard, just so I can get that more chaotic, fast gameplay. Helps kind of build flipper reaction time skills, at least in my eyes. So I like that kind of thing. If you're not ready for that, if you're used to the kind of stop and go, hit this shot, wait for it to kick out, come here, hit this shot type of thing, this is going to be an absolute nightmare for you at first, because it is just so wham, bam, 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 the balls are flying everywhere. Another thing that kind of adds to that is the fast lock system. So the fast lock system, aptly named, is really cool. So you got it on both sides. The flippers, you've got little locking mechanisms that'll hold the ball, but the thing is, it's not just going to hold the ball once you hit a shot. You're going to hit a shot, and before that ball has come around, it's already unlocking a ball and shooting it down to your flipper. So it takes a little while to get used to, because your eyes are used to tracking a ball going here, maybe it locks over here and then it drops down into the flipper. No, not on this game. The fast locks change that up, so you'll have a ball still in motion going up a ramp, going around a corner, which triggers the fast lock to go ahead and release another one. So you're immediately having to take your eyes or down playfield quicker than you're used to. So a couple games right out of the gate, I was confused. I was like, what is going on? This is so frantic. You almost feel like you're always in multi-ball, because you're seeing multiple balls moving simultaneously, and that is, again, akin to making this game just so fast and hectic, and I absolutely love that aspect of it. It's really, really cool. It's great. It's a nice little innovative mech, even though it's just up post. It really is a nice way to kind of change the gameplay of standard pinball. A couple other shots I really enjoyed on this, specifically on the premium, was the 3-positional 180 ramp. So you got 3 different ways the ramp kind of stacks up and changes, which is really cool. Kind of adds to the versatility of that shot in particular. And then you have an Argo up ramp, or the Argo Labs, I think it's what it's officially called. Again, adds to the versatility of an otherwise simplistic shot. And the reason I say that is you lose both of those mechs completely in the pro model, and you definitely feel it. In fact, that's one of my biggest gripes of this. Normally, I'm a huge proponent of the pro model. I think they're great value, and I always kind of tell people, like, premium features are always cool to have the extra bells and whistles, but you don't always need them. This one, I can 100% say with confidence, like, yeah, you need them. You need a premium, not a pro. I can't think of any person that will play a premium and prefer a pro versus other Stern machines where I can see that argument. This one is just night and day. I can't see a single person arguing a case for pro over premium. And that was really kind of one of my biggest takeaways with the shots and the layout, is just how barren the pro model feels over the premium. Like the mechanism for the Doppelganger comes out with the 3 dangling targets that look like, you know, USB drives. It's pretty hokey, but you don't realize just how much you miss having that added feature until you're playing on the pro model that doesn't have that at all. Not to mention it doesn't have the 180 up ramp that comes over to the left wire form. It doesn't have the Argo up ramp that goes around the horseshoe. You just feel like it doesn't have enough to it, especially with that wide open lower 2/3 of the playfield. You're just looking at this machine and you're thinking, I don't really see the same kind of value that I got in a, say, Godzilla Pro model or a Foo Fighters Pro model for the most recent Stern releases. You hold all 3 of those Pro models side by side and you look at them and you're saying, I don't see the $7,000. I don't know where it went. So that is a big, concern for me. Was the Pro model. It doesn't seem to have enough value. It doesn't seem to have enough versatility in the shots. It just seemed a little bit repetitive in terms of its actual layout and design. In fact, that's probably going to be another big gripe for a lot of people, is just how similar this is to Mandalorian. The middle ramp is almost identical to the Mandalorian's middle ramp. It's maybe moved back an inch or two, but other than that, it's literally an almost identical shot. You've got a traditional kind of open fan layout. The premium on Mandalorian has a 180 upturn that comes over to the left wire form and drops down to the left flipper. This one does the exact same thing on Venom. It's in a very similar position as well. You also have a 180 horseshoe shot, which is on Mandalorian as well as on Venom. And since they're both Brian Eddy games, it just feels like, this is a little too similar to something that was just recently released a couple years ago. So yeah, if you already have a Mandalorian at home, Pro, Premium, whichever, and you like it and you love it and you're thinking, maybe I should invest in a Venom. Well, it's very similar, in fact, too similar for me personally. As much as I love comic books and I love the Venom character, I own a Mandalorian Pro pinball machine, and I just didn't feel enough difference playing the Venom versus playing my Mandalorian machine. Another negative that I saw, or at least a concern that I had with the shots and the layout of the machine, is there's no spinner on this, which to most won't be a deal breaker. The only place you could really, I guess, put the spinner would be in the, kind of left side, orbit, which would be the identical place it is on Mandalorian. So maybe that's why they didn't put it there. Maybe they thought it was too on the nose as far as being similar to Mandalorian. The pop bumpers are hidden in the back. That's kind of becoming Brian Eddy's kind of thing, where he puts pop bumpers in his machine, but he hides them out of the way. I'm fine with that. But the thing is, the pop bumpers typically are made to, introduce some randomness and some chaos to the ball once it hits and goes everywhere. It doesn't really do that on this machine. Where the pop bumpers are placed and how the ball gets to it, it doesn't really kick the ball out anywhere crazy that would change any kind of shots. It just kind of trickles out of the same place every single time. So I'm left wondering why we have pop bumpers at all to begin with back there. And maybe put some of that money towards some different shots or a different aspect towards the game, because they don't really seem to serve any sense in this game at all. Other aspects of the game that I really enjoyed, the Carnage bash toy. I think it looks good, the actual sculpt on that. I think it's a nice way to interact and actually physically battle the bad guys in this game, continuously bashing Carnage around. So that's really cool. I like that it's tied in with the theme and going back into Ravencroft, the insane asylum and everything like that. So that's a cool mech. Like I mentioned, the Doppelganger swing out target looks kind of silly, little hokey, but it's actually a nice little change of pace. Specifically, like I said, if you don't have it on the Pro and you go to the Premium, you're like, oh wow, this is a nice additional feature that adds a different layer of gameplay to it. I really enjoyed the level progression system. I think that was probably one of the biggest changes of this game, biggest takeaways as far as moving pinball forward, if you will. So you get to level up RPG style. It's great for newcomers. So if you're new to pinball, you're not so great at it, maybe you're thinking, I'll never see a wizard mode in my entire life. Play this enough, you'll level up eventually, making everything so much easier to complete, and thus getting you to that actual end goal / end wizard mode, which is, you know, a great way to introduce new people to pinball. Like I said, keep people from being discouraged from their skill set in pinball, which I think is, you know, a key to keeping pinball growing and keeping people happy. And also love the actual choose your host aspect. Number one, it's great theme integration for Venom's history and, you know, bouncing around to multiple people, but it's also very cool because it changes how you play the game literally. You got different avenues to go down versus how you know, traditionally just have a standard linear path to go through with modes. Each character you choose has their own set of attributes, which changes how you play the game, as well as which kind of like little modes and mini activations go on the playfield. Also like that you can change it per ball, so there was a similar feature on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles where you could choose your own turtle, and each turtle had their own attributes, but once you picked a turtle, you were stuck with that turtle for all 3 balls. This is different. You drain a ball, you don't like how Gwen Stacy was playing, you can change over to Eddie Brock, you can change over to Flash Thompson, and, you know, so on and so forth, which is cool. And once you complete all those, you can even unlock other characters, so you can have maybe a Hulk Venom or a Captain America Venom, or, you know, Venomized Wolverine. All those type of things are, you know, nice added features to the gameplay to keep you playing longer even after you, say, beat the entire wizard mode. So thumbs up to them. Great job on that as far as coding aspect. Dwight Sullivan, he does an amazing job with coding in general. He's really good at creating moments, so you feel like you get to a certain part of the game and you're like, oh man, here it comes, here's the moment. He's exceptional at that. And he also codes in really cool features like co-op mode, where you can have multiple people playing together for a cohesive, you know, let's get to the wizard mode type of thing, which I always think is, it's just a nice feature overall. Animations in the game looked really good from what I saw. I like that you can do some risk reward with the mayhem multi-ball. So it starts off 2, you can cancel it, roll the dice and make it go to 3, 4, 5, 6 if you want. So that's really cool. It's a nice added feature for, you know, maybe more skilled players, so they can really build that multi-ball up and get it going. You also have something very akin to the flamethrower on Mandalorian, where you have you know, you can double your value and triple your value of some of the shots depending on what you're doing. So great job on that aspect. But one thing I really wanted to experience that I just didn't get to really check out too much just because of the atmosphere was the soundtrack. I was able to hear some call outs, but it's just so noisy around Comic-Con with that pop-up pinball arcade, as well as just out there on the show floor where they had a couple of the Venom tables at a booth. It's so hard to hear anything, and I would love to hear Mark Tremonti's you know, score that he added the music to for this machine. So it's one thing I'll just have to check out at a later date, because I just wasn't able to really hear it clear enough to really get a good appreciation or understanding of the music in this game. So my final thoughts on the machine: had a great time playing it. It was fun. However, I can say I'm just not going to be somebody that's, you know, rushing out to buy this. Not necessarily any huge flaws to it, other than, like I said, I don't think the Pro has enough in it to produce a good enough value to me personally for $7,000. The Premium has lots of cool bells and whistles that I think makes it a much more enjoyable game, and basically the only version of the game I think give a shot. But it's just too similar to Mandalorian for me personally to want to actually own this or have this in my collection. As much as I love the comic theme, as much as I love the artwork, as much as I love the code from Dwight Sullivan, the layout just seemed a little too similar for me personally to a game I already own and have in my collection. So I think, you know, good things will come of this. Hopefully we'll see some more amazing games coming out later in the year from other manufacturers, but this one right now, it's just going to be something I play on location from time to time, but not something I go out and try to spend a lot of money trying to add to my collection. So anyways, if you got to play it, if you got to see any videos, let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below, what you think of the Stern Venom Pinball Machine. If you found the information helpful, make sure you hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and as always, thanks for watching, guys. Really means a lot.